Hello there, you're welcome again to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, oof, I'm so happy you're here. Please don't forget to click on the subscribe button. And if you've been here before and you just forgot, please click on the subscribe button and let's roll. So today I'm gonna be talking about a very, very interesting topic. I know every time I come, I say a very interesting topic, but every topic is interesting. Like there's so much to learn from every conversation if you make the best, like the most out of it, you know. So I'm gonna quickly read Hebrews 12 verses 1, and it says, I'm reading from the Passion Translation because I really like how the Passion Translation puts it. It says, as for us, we have all of these great witnesses who encircle us like clouds. So we must let go of every wound that has pierced us and the sin we so easily fall into. Then we will be able to run life's marathon race with passion and determination, for the path has already been marked out before us. Okay, I love the Passion Translation, how it puts this particular verse. I want to read from the contemporary English version because I'm building, you know. Such a loud crowd of witnesses is all around us. So we must get rid of everything that slows us down, especially the sin that just won't let go. And we must be determined to run the race that is ahead of us. Two, we must keep our eyes on Jesus who leads us and makes our faith complete. He endured the shame of being nailed to the cross because he knew that later on he will be glad he did. Now he is seated at the right hand of God's throne. But really, where I want to emphasize on is especially that sin that won't just let go. Now, this is Hebrews 12, verse 1. If you have conversant with this passage, or with the book of Hebrews, you know that in chapter 11, that is the chapter of faith. Now without faith this is impossible to please God, you know. And by faith he started citing different examples, our fathers in the faith. Abraham, cited my husband's name even showed up, Gideon. I don't know how I'm going to. Okay, I know you have been saying, it's just the newly wedded butterflies, but then, hey, it's not my fault. You're not be so good to me. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on. All right, so where was I? Mm, yeah, so it cited different examples. By faith, Abraham was as good as dead, but then he believed that, no, he believed God's promise, and because he believed, he was able to give birth to the promise, like to the seed. Sarah was as good as, she was done, but then she believed and then she conceived. Who else again? Abraham again. Abraham, or Abraham. I really like calling his name like that. You know, when he was asked to offer up Isaac, he believed that God could still raise him from the ashes. Talking about how going through the exploits that were done by these great people, you know, um great wonderful men and women of faith. Just run through Hebrews 11 so you can get where Hebrews 12 verse 1 was coming from. So he said, okay, so now that we have all these witnesses, that's all the witnesses that were mentioned in Hebrews 11, like they are looking onto us, they are like looking up to us. They were all promised the promise. They were all given a promise. Let me cite Abraham, as an example. God told him, you're going to be the father of many nations. Yet he was not the father of many nations when he died, but he died believing that promise. And look at Israel today. It's indeed a nation, like nations came out from Abraham's loins. So he died believing that promise. We are a part of a bigger picture. We complement one another, but then one thing that will keep us from achieving and attaining the full picture, you know he didn't let them see the full picture. Like, they are looking onto us to continue from where they stopped, to continue running the race, to continue. Just think of the prophet Isaiah, talking about Jesus. For unto us a son is born, unto us, oh, it's Christmas time, really. But he didn't live to see Jesus come alive. Not to talk of Jesus going back to heaven, and the we're receiving the promise of the Spirit. He didn't live to see all that, but he was part of it all. He prophesied. Like, it's so great, it's so beautiful, it's so amazing. But then, right back to the topic, to the subject of our discussion, that sin that so easily besets us, that sin that we keep falling into. So let us do away with that. Let us do away with that. We all have this one thing that we struggle with, this particular thing that you you can't you tend to idolize without knowing. Right now, for me, it's struggling with my time, making the best use of my time, ensuring that I honor God with my time, ensuring that I don't take social media. I don't allow social media eat up into the time I could be meditating and conversing with my Father in heaven. That discipline to, I need to spend time with God daily. And I would rather meditate and communicate with my Father in heaven than to like when I'm in transit, maybe on my way back from the office, when I'm in transit going back home, than to just take my phone, scroll, 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 which I catch myself doing so many times. So for me, that's like one of the many struggles right now. But we grow in grace, we increase. God is helping us all. But then we're talking about that sin that easily besets. Now, I'm not just trying to come out here look all polished. There are several things I've struggled with over the years, in my sweet, beautiful little lifetime that I've spent up till now, that God has given me to experience up to now. Different things that by God's grace I've been able to overcome. There was a time in my life that I would pray to God, God, please help me. You have to deliver me from the spirit of gluttony. Like, eat here, eat here, eat here, eat here. I'm always eating, eating, eating. I'm full, but I'm always eating, eating, struggling, and help. Asking God for help, and God, please just help me. And recently I did a video on grace. Now you have grace. Then what? Just recently, right? I think it had to do with this timing thing, this having to be more disciplined. I was telling God, I was like, God, please help me, grant me grace. I was like, no, I was like, um, Lord, please help me. I think I heard him say back to me, I have helped you. Now you have to help yourself. Like, the grace is available to you. I know I have received grace. Lord, help me to engage this grace. I think that's what I was praying. And he said, I've helped. Now you need to work. Sometimes we ask God for some certain things and we want him to do all the work. It is very important that we identify those things. There is no shame. There is no shame, and the worst thing that we could do is to lie to ourselves. See, the thing is, we now let me read it again. Say, especially that sin that just won't let go, and we must determine to run the race that is ahead of us. Let me go back to the Passion Translation. It said, so we must let go of every wound that has pierced us and the sin we so easily fall into. Then we will be able to run life's marathon race with passion and determination, for the path has already been marked out before us. The Word of God says that without holiness, no man can see God. Because God is holy. God is He won't ask us to be holy if he knew it was not possible. God is a just God, you know. So there is so little we will be able to do for him if we don't let go of these things, So I just like you to do an exercise. Take a notepad, take a pen, write out those little sins, little foxes. Recently, I'm asking God, I'm like, good, like I catch myself speaking, you know, talking about temperament. Let me digress a little. Now, maybe I'll make a whole video on temperament and my experience through temperaments, because I believe that as we evolve, sometimes our temperaments changes. I used to be phlegmatic, like, no fight. I don't like stress. I'll just do barest minimum and we just move and we are fine and everybody's okay. But then recently I discovered, I think I used to be like a phlegmatic sanguine in a way. And then, no, I was thoroughly a phlegmatic at some point. Then I started exhibiting some sanguine attributes. Then recently it dawned on me, ooh, girl, you're actually choleric. Like your primary temperament is choleric, and you have a little bit of sanguine, as your secondary temperament. So sometimes I catch myself saying some things. Like recently, I listened to a voice note that I had sent someone again. I listened to myself and I was like, oh, okay. Because I noticed after I sent that voice note, like the person did not speak to me again. And I was like, what did I say? And in my mind, I'm actually looking out for you. Like, I'm looking out for you. And I listened to the voice and I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, so my communication must have been off somewhere. So I picked out some things like, okay, yeah, it's coming from a place of, oh, I want to look out for you, but then this is not the best way to communicate it. Like after a long while listening to myself, I was like, oh wow, so now I'm beginning to notice, like I'm beginning to be very cautious of my communication, especially when I'm in that space where I want something achieved. you know I had to remind myself recently of something that I had written sometime, from the book of Proverbs. I wrote in one of my notes, the law of my tongue is kindness. So even while chatting, there was a time I wanted to send a WhatsApp status. Like I was trying to address something, or I think I was trying to address something, and the way I typed it at first, I read it and I was like, "Ooh, now this is wrong." So I had to like go over it again to like make it um better, like make it a better version of communication. Yeah, I'm trying to just hit my goal and move on, but then this is so wrong. So the law of my tongue is kindness. I spoke about affirmations. If you've not watched my videos on affirmations, you should. And I start to notice these things, and I'm like, hey God, we have to work on this, because I really want to go far with God. I want to keep walking with Him, because I know it's an endless walk. Just like he walked with God and he was not. He just continued walking with Him, translated into glory. I'm not saying I don't want to die. I'm just saying I just want to continue walking and growing in God. And if I'm noticing all these little things that so easily beset, that all these little sins that I all this, not little, there's no sin that is little. I'm just trying to like put it inside context. You might just think, oh yeah, I mean, the people that are really sinning against God are the ones that are committing adultery, the ones that are fornicating, the ones that are stealing, I mean, and the armed robbers, like the murderers. So you you might classify yourself as, oh, it's not really a big deal, this and this and this and that. Mm-mm, no way. That sin you easily find yourself falling into. I know someone listening to me here is struggling with pornography. Yeah, you might not be watching videos, but then you just find yourself drooling over pictures on Instagram that have that are very provocative, ladies, boobs out, so many things on Instagram. Like, you just find yourself drooling and staring and going over their feeds again and again, such that Instagram's algorithm now keeps showing you pictures, 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 and you find yourself, oh, watching a movie, and it comes to those sex scenes, it does something to you. You get excited, your hormones get stirred up. Then you take your time to really watch it and enjoy it, and sometimes you rewind, to just relive the experience again. And when the season two of that particular movie you're watching comes out, you are quick because you are anticipating what you're going to see. That those scenes that you keep falling into, either there are very obvious scenes to the world, or they are the ones that that it's very difficult to tell, but it's a struggle. And on your inner man, you have this nudge. Sometimes we so deaden our conscience. we, we become so dead to our conscience that we don't even like we've shrugged off the nudge so much that it doesn't even come again. But then think about it. Secret sin thrives in secrecy. So that thing that you really not want to talk about in the open, you rather just keep it under the cover. And some people are really bold about these things. Some people really just, they so deaden their conscience that it doesn't really matter anymore. They could do it in the open and form hard guy, but then deep down inside. And for those that even, like, they are just so dead because they really don't think there is a way back. They've just, if you feel you've gone too far with this thing, you don't really think, you just continue going in it and just hope that God's mercy will find you. See, there is God's hands are always stretched out and willing to receive you. So now, if you want, I know, for you to even be watching this video, I know you want, it's not just for, if you've stayed till this end, is not just that, oh, okay, oh, Shalom, and you really would like to hear what she has to say. She has a YouTube channel. No, it's more than that. You're here because you really have a love, a hunger for God, and you want to go far with him. All right, so be very intentional about these things. Write these things down. Write down those sins that easily beset you, and bring it to God in prayer intentionally. Don't be ashamed about it. Come before him and tell him, Lord, this and this and this and this are my struggles, and tell him to grant you grace to deliver you from those sins that easily beset you, those sins that just won't let go. And hmm, I'm happy for you because I know there are going to be testimonies. Because if you don't stop pushing, you will hit victory. Okay, so bye again. Don't forget to subscribe, and please like this video if you enjoyed it. And let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Bye for now, and till later.